welcome back to Christmas in July. Today's our last day. I am going to attempt to do today's project all in one go. I know my camera only goes 29 minutes, so I might have to splice it, but I have pre-cut some of the pages. I have two videos already, a two-part on this from a couple of years ago, and I will leave those in the description box. But yeah, let's get started. So I am going to make a gratitude journal. I have a couple of these in my stash already. Everyone loves them. I'm thinking about offering a class to do these because these would be a great class. I have not done that yet, but anyway, so I have Pen and Gear composition book. These go on sale, especially about right now, for 50 cents. I don't know what the regular price is. I get wide ruled because that's what I like to write on, but you can get the college ruled. It has 100 sheets. It's almost a half an inch thick. There's some little piece of something hanging here I'm going to trim off. But you want to make sure you're getting the cardboard covers. I ordered some with my groceries one time, and I got the plastic covered ones accidentally. So make sure that you're getting the cardstock covers. So we're going to turn this into a gratitude journal a la MayMay over at MayMay Made It. And she has done several versions of this going way back. And I'm just going to use the Ephemera collection from Hobby Lobby. I decided to use these butterflies on, let me pull the stack out of my way here. I decided to use some butterflies for the cover. Now, I did make, in the video that I'm going to link below, I made Christmas ones. And this one, I'm just going to make butterfly. I love this Ephemera collection from Hobby Lobby. I have 3 of them, and I have also purchased the ephemera packs when I see them. Now the ephemera packs are like $6.99, but they come with stickers and die cuts and letters and bling and paper, 10 sheets of paper. If you buy the collection on a stack, it's a little thicker, lightweight cardstock, I would call it. So I do have 2 weights of paper here. For the inside, I have the paper, but for the cover, I've got the cardstock, only because these are the ones I wanted to do. So, you know, let's get started. So I am just going to use my Fabri-Tac because I find it works the best for this. I am going to do this much like I did the tiny ones, the little tiny notebooks that we did, only we're not using book page. Oops, you can see how when you go over the side sometimes you get glue on the pages, but I'm going as close to the edge as I can go, and then I'm gonna fill in the middle. And then we will glue this piece on and then trim off any excess. Now I have cut this piece 9 and, let's see, I have my measurements, 9 3/4 by 6 7/8. That works for my book, but check to make sure your book is that. So I am going to just push that right up to the edge of that black area because I want to maintain that, and I'm just lining this up. I'm going to get my bone folder out and kind of rub out some of that glue texture so that it's not bumpy. You have a few minutes with the Fabri-Tac. Be aware that if you're using like a regular white glue, it's going to wrinkle your paper, but it will settle down after it's dry. The Fabri-Tac gives you a quicker bond. Now I'm just going to open this, and you can see we've got just a smidge around the edges, so I'm going to use a craft knife and take my time. Now that looks like that is where that piece I was trimming off. I don't think there's any down there, so right around here. And like I said, just take your time. This is a little thicker than paper, so I need to adjust my pressure, but I'm just going to come around here and go straight along the edge. Okay. Looks like I got over here where I can't see very well because I'm too far away from the, there we go. Alright, and I'm just going to flip this around this way. These don't have as big of a rounded corner as the ones I've done previously. That's why I'm not using the corner rounder. In my other videos you'll see me use the corner rounder. I think that's pretty good. And anything I missed, I'm going to come along with the nail file and fix. So I might have to do that right here. Yeah, because I can't seem to get it where I want it. I'm not crazy about these, the feel of these. I really like this. I just, oh, do those blades fit in there? Because I got a ton of these blades. I'm gonna have to check, because the main issue I had with this one is that cover. It didn't have a cover with it that stayed on. The cover was always somewhere else. So anyway, I'm gonna take my little nail file, and I'm going to use the smoother side. This says 320 grit, but anything will do. And I'm just going to come along the edge of that. That's going to do two things. It's going to straighten out that edge where if I've gone over at all, and it's also going to give me a better inking surface. So, but especially right here on the corners is where I want to come around here. Okay, and I think these pretty good. Come down here and do this. That side's pretty good. The only part that I think yeah, right here. Right here where, come along there a little bit more. And just take your time. You don't want to gouge it or... I think that's good enough. And then we're just going to come along here with the ink. I'm using walnut stain distress oxide. I really have gotten to where I just love the walnut stain. I like the darker edges, and yeah, it works. So see, you've got that cover. Now what I did do on this paper, it had a darker edge all the way around, and I cut the paper, I put them back to back so that that edge would be on the edge here as well. So front is done. I'm going to do the back and I'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to do the front inside cover, and because this has a rounded sewn in spine, I don't know if you can see that, it's rounded. Okay, so this paper doesn't lay flat. This is going to have to come around that. We don't want to bring our paper all the way to the edge. So I have cut this to the height of the book, which is 9 3/4, and then I have just done 7. So that's going to leave me about 1/2 inch. You could do up to 1/4 inch if you want, but that just happened to be the size that I picked. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Yeah, it might be easier if we put the glue on the paper. I'm not sure my fingers will reach 7 inches, but we'll figure it out. My glue is super thick today. I might have to change to a big bottle. It doesn't want to, there it goes. Okay. So as close to the edge as you can get it. You can always come back and add more if you need to, so. If you see an area that's lifting or something, so. All right, I'm going to lay this down here. I'm going to turn this way, and I think I like that side up. This one doesn't really have a right or wrong, it just feels right that way. And come along here like that. And we're going to do just the same as we did with the front cover, trimming it out. For this one, I think I'm just going to use my scissors because I think I did pretty good there. Just trim that out. Okay, and then if you see any white, you can just come along here with some ink. But I think I did okay, and then we will ink inside here. You could ink here if you want. I'm not going to this time. I did that last time, but I don't think it's necessary. Sorry, I'm out of the screenshot. All right, and then I will go ahead and do that on the back, but we'll talk about this pocket first. Well, we're going to put a pocket on here. So I've got these pieces, and these are from the same collection. Now, I've made these smaller for some reason. I thought I did these at 6 5/8, but you could do them the same as the pocket. I'm just going to leave a reveal around like that, and I'll probably round this corner down here. So let's do that, just so it kind of mimics it. I think I'll do the round. So if we have this one here, it's that corner. All right. And I do want to put a punch in here. And so like I said, this was 6 1/2, well, 6 5/8, I believe. Let me look. 6 3/4 it says. Did I not cut them the right size? All right, so half of 6 1/2 is going to be 3 1/4, and then I'm going to do a smidge. Let's see if that looks about right. Yes, that will do. So 3 1/4 plus a smidge, because this one doesn't have 16ths on it. All right, and then I will round. Well, I've got that one rounded on that one, so I'll round this corner on this side because this is going to go on the back. And we will just attach this pocket. We can ink this. Oh, I did something to my shoulder, guys. I don't know what. Just since I sat down here. Maybe reaching. Oh, I don't know. It's giving me a fit now. Right up into my neck. So I don't know what I did. I haven't done anything I haven't done before sitting here. All right, so let's attach that on. There we go. And like I said, I'm just going to center and from the bottom, all 3 sides about the same, reveal, like such. All right, so now we've got that pocket there. Now I'm going to repeat what I just did. back here, and then I'll be back. Okay, we've got the back cover and pocket, so we're all set there. One of the things I noticed about some of these books from Walmart and Dollar Tree, I don't know which one this was, I don't even remember, is that they don't always come over far enough to cover the pages. But you know what? It doesn't bother me because I'll probably be inking the outside edges anyway, so it'll be fine. I'm not going to concern myself about it. I probably shouldn't have even shown you because now you can't unsee it. But you'll notice it when you're working with it. So we're going to take these front 2 pages, and I need some scrap paper here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these 2 pages together, and I'm going to use a glue stick for that. I'll use this Scotch Purple, which is pretty good, and I'm just going to, I want to go right up to the edges, so make sure you put something underneath, and then I'm going to go right up, not all the way to the spine, but about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, something like that. And make sure you cover the whole page. And then we are going to close that down like so. And I'm going to use my bone folder if I can find it. There it is. I'll just open this up because, like I said, there's a curve on that. So if I do it this way and just bring that out, smooth it out, you can see it's still purple in there, so it's got some time. But I want to make that as flat as possible. And because it is glue stick, it will make your page curl a little bit, but it will get better once it's dry. And you can feel it start to dry. It's cool in spots, but and then the purple's going away. You can still see purple here. But we're going to do it again to the next 2 pages. We're going to glue these together. And maybe I'll use a different piece of card just in case. Oh, that's not big enough. There we go. And there again, just go all the way to the edge. So we don't have that lifting, because this is kind of thin paper and it might get raggedy. Okay, and then we're going to lift that up again with the page next to it. And pull this up. You know, this is easier when you're not dealing with the camera, so it's not as hard as I'm making it look. And I think in my last video I glued these ahead of time, so it's not as hard as all that. But the reason that we're gluing these 2 pages together is because this paper is super thin, and we want a little bit thicker pocket. So, all right. So I'm going to take that out, and it looks like it glued to this, so we want to get that apart. And we are going to fold these down, so we've got 2 thicker pages now, and we're going to fold these down to make an angled pocket. So I'm going to follow this line right here and make that angled pocket. Now some have a pink line here, mine does not, and the pink lines are not all in the same place, as you can see, and if I fold it on this line it may not be in the right place. So I'm going to bring this up and tell that where to go. It doesn't have to be exact, but close enough will work. So I'm going to bring that down, and yeah, just a smidge past that line you can see underneath. So that should be fine. And then I am going to cut out some of this bulk. This is not absolutely necessary, but just take that off, and then we're going to glue that piece down again. Not again, but get our glue stick again and glue this piece down. We're going to glue over it, so all right. I want that nice and flat. Okay, you can see some of the glue oozing out. So go ahead and get that now, because you don't want it, you want to tell it where you want it glued. See how much this one's curled over here? That's crazy. All right, so then we're going to take this and put it under here. A little bit of, get that glue off there so it doesn't stick. And glue this down. Nice and flat. Okay. All right, so we have these pockets now. We're going to glue them together. So we only want to put glue on this side and the bottom. So we do that with our Fabri-Tac. I'm not going all the way to the spine. I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch. And we are going to connect these. And I've found that if I do it this way instead of laying it down, kind of lines up a little bit better. I can make sure that these corners are pretty well aligned. And you see how nicely that came together because of the way that I used the first one as a pattern. So, all right, and like I said, as soon as this dries, this will lay flatter. So I'm going to close this. We'll come back and cover this in a minute, but while we're waiting, we're going to work on the closure. So the closure, I have a strip. This is not the right size, however. So where's the other piece? I need a piece that is 4, and I cut it in 2. So let me get my cutter. I know it's around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I need a 4 by 10.5, and I think I wrote down, no, I wrote down 4 by 10.5. I don't know why I cut it the wrong. So I just wanted this to be a little bit darker. That's why I chose this black background. I wanted it to be a little bit darker than the butterflies. You could use craft card if you wanted, because that would be a nice contrast. But yeah, so 4 by 10.5. And I cut it to 12, so I thought I already had cut it down to 10.5, but apparently not. So let's fix that. How many tools can you stack and still function? I mean, I just only have so much room on my desk here, so we have to make it work. And then I want to score that in half vertically. Okay, so I'm going to get my favorite scoring tool, and I'm going to score this at 2. Okay. Now, I have, well, let's go ahead and fold this. There we go. I guess that will be the back side. This will be the front side. Yeah, just a little bit of contrast. So this is going to be attached here and wrap around to the front like that. But the first thing we want to do, I have 1 yard of ribbon, and I have cut it in half. And we are going to glue that inside this piece. Let me get this out of the way for a second. I have only close up my glue stick, which I could be using, but maybe not. Okay, I'm going to need that. Let's open this. And I want this, how did I say? That's the back, this is the front. So I'm going to put a line of glue. And did I finish my thought? I have a one yard piece cut in half. So 18 inches. I'm going to put 3 inches here, and of the other piece I'm going to put 3 inches here. So just lay it down like that. Get the other piece over here. Like that. This seam binding is super thin, so it's perfect for this. Alright, don't need the score tool. I am going to use the Fabri-Tac and glue this closed. Oops. So I'm going to put glue on top of the fabric, of course, and around the rest. I do need to make sure I get it on there so that it stays inside, because this is going to be our tie closure. Alright, and then I am going to close that. Use my bone folder to make sure it has good contact. And be careful not to smush too hard or you get glue. That one didn't get centered as well, but that's okay. I don't think it'll matter once you tie it on. Okay, and then we are going to glue this to the back, but I want to ink it first with my walnut stain. So I could just pull that down. Side. There we go. So this is the back where that white line is showing. It's really not going to show, but I'm going to go ahead and ink it. Just because it's kind of stark. You know what I mean? I think it'll be good up here. Okay, so now we're going to bring our book back. And this closure is, okay, you want this right side up, and I'm going to pull this forward and I'm going to clip it so that I don't accidentally attach it here. Now I do want to do this centered, so I'm going to bring my ruler out, and this will be about 4 7/8 ish centered. So I'm just going to make a mark right here, and we are going to glue this piece to about here. I'm going to say leave a finger width, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my glue, and I'm only going to glue on this side of my finger. And I will need to take that. Wait a minute. Let's do this. I don't want to move my finger, but I guess I can measure again. I'm going to pin it down here. Clip it down there. I'm going to lay that back down so that I know about a finger width. I don't want to put glue past this. Get the glue to the bottom of the bottle. And we want to use enough glue here that it's not going to come up. I mean, Fabri-Tac is pretty good anyway, but probably fine. And I'm going to come along here and just center that where that dot was and come along here like that. I do want to go right up to that edge. You may note, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but my back cover and my front cover were not the exact same size. So I have a little strip of the book showing, but I'm just going to come along here with a Sharpie fine point and mark that out when I'm finished. So pretty sure this is centered, but just, you know, if you want to double check, it's like 8 and yeah. Looks good. I just want to hold that for a second. You could do this last if you wanted, but since I was waiting for those other pages to dry, I figured I might as well. Now I can unclip this. And that will wrap around this way. And we will have our closure this way. So we need to train this. So what I'm going to do is just take my bone folder and just kind of curve it up a little bit like this. I'm kind of rubbing and going up at the same time, kind of like you would when you're doing curly ribbon for a package. It's the same kind of effect. We just want it to know where it's attaching, where it's supposed to go. And I find it works just fine with the bone folder. You could do it with a pencil. Okay. And then that's going to be coming around this way and tying here like this. See if I can tie a bow. Woohoo! I did it. All right. So that's how our closure is going to look. This is going to be a little bit more. I'm going to play with it a little bit more, and this will be tighter. If I can do it tighter, then you know it'll train it. Okay. So anyway, now let's get back to that other pocket. We have a couple other things to do in here. These are totally optional. If you want, you can cover these pages. Like, for instance, you could take this and cover this page, and or you don't have to. It's completely up to you. But if I was going to cover this, I'm going to fold this inside that. So let's see. I would probably come all the way out to the edge here to cover it. And then I would leave a little bit because I want to go over. So let's mark an inch from there and I think about here. And then I will put these back to back and cut them. Let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. I have them lined up, yeah, going the same direction. So an inch from here, and well, I mean, this was an inch from there. I'm going from this mark to this mark. All right, like that. And then this will attach here and fold over inside the pocket. Now, if you want it to go over inside the pocket, you're going to have to do that before you attach these pages, huh? Because I have them glued together, so that's not going to go all the way to the edge. Let's see how it does. How far over it? I'm just going to stick it in and see. So about 1/4 of an inch, and that still gives me room. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch and glue that on. Get these And we can always come against that edge and add more glue. So I do want to make sure that we are going to wrap around, so I don't have to be perfect on the edge there. But all right. Right about there. And I can taper this if I need to get inside that pocket. I do think I'm going to need to come along with, oh, maybe not. We'll see. Alright, so I'm going to come over this, and I think I am going to have to kind of come in just a smidge there to get over the edge, and then kind of fold it, bend it over that edge. Might be easier to, I thought I did an inch over. Wow, I did an inch here. It might be easier to just trim that piece off. Totally up to you. Yeah, see, because I didn't get that fold right. Well, I can see what the problem is there. It's because I moved it over. Let's get that folded correctly, shall we? There we go. There we go. And then I will just glue this real quick. What's the weather like where you guys are? Kind of hot. It hasn't been excruciatingly hot, but it's hot enough that, you know, certain places in the house are not enjoyable. So have to have all the fans on and the AC running. And alright, and then this goes over just a smidge, so I want to fix that. This is probably how I just hurt my shoulder trying to cut weird places. That's not staying down. Get that. You know, and as much detail as you want to put into it. You know what I mean? If you don't want to mess with it, just trim it off. Alright, so that should go inside there. I'm going to go ahead and fold this first. Let's see. If I pin, no, that's not going to work. I'm just going to glue it on. Alright. Let's see if that will go inside without trimming it. Looks like. If I rub that down and then I can take it out and glue it. Alright. That looks pretty good. Oh, looks like I had glue on there. A little bit. I think this is the hardest part of the whole book. So if you want to just trim it off, do that. I think that's what I did on the last one. If you're going to wrap around, do it before you glue the pages together. So, alright, and you know, you can always come back in here and add some lace somewhere or whatever you want. Do I have a piece I need to cut off the top? Yes. Alright. Alright. Okay, so now we have a couple of fun pockets to work on. The first one is just a little sleeve, and I'm going to center it. That's not it. This one is going to go, okay, those are for that. This is the sleeve, and it's going to hold a 2x4 tag. So this piece measures 3 7/8 this way by 3 1/8 this way, and then on the 3 1/8 side we're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side. So I can do it over here where I can see. So I'm going to line it up with 8 and come in a 1/2 inch. Turn it around and repeat it. And what that's going to do is give me a little bit of wiggle room in this little slide. I'm going to call it a slider, for the tag to slide in and out. Because I want to put a 2-inch tag, I don't want this to be 2 inches. I want it to be 2 and a smidge. So I am going to use the punch board to punch each side. And I think I'm going to turn that over because it'll be easier to see to center this. Punch this way, and I'm centering this on the paper, so just like that. Okay, and then we're going to ink this. All right, and I tried to choose something that was a little bit more neutral. So we're going to glue this down. You know what I'm going to do that I didn't do last time? I'm going to taper these corners because I think it'll be easier to get the tag in and out if we don't have that piece right at the edge. So I don't need it to be inked. Alright, and then we are going to glue these little, I guess, gussets up, but the little mechanism that allows it to slide. That's one side. I think this is one of my favorite pages from this collection. It's very, sorry about that, it's very Tim Holtz-ish. So I'm going to put this centered right down here, like that. You could put it to one side or the other. I'm just eyeballing it, just like that. And we want that to dry a second. Get all these little paper things out of here. Now I'm going to put this aside for a minute, and I'm going to work with these, because these are the pockets that are going to go on the corner pouches, if you will. I guess that's what I'll call them, corner pouches. So what I'm going to do to this, these are 3 by 6, and I want to make 2 pockets, so I'm going to score at 3, and I'm going to score at 3. Alright, and then I am going to punch with my punch board, but to make it easier, I'm going to fold these and I'm going to ink them, because that'll help me. I mean, I can do 1 1/2, right? But if you're doing a different size pocket, if you're not doing a 3 by 6, you know, this will help you center it. Just fold it in half, and then you have a smaller size to center. Also, I like the way it looks on the page when you have that score inked, because it shows there's 2 pockets, other than, you know, the punch does as well, but it just looks cool. All right, so we are going to line up this score with 1.5 punch, and then we are going to line up this edge with 1.5 and punch, and that gives us 2 pockets. Well, it will when we glue it down, because we're going to glue down the middle. So same thing, from the score or from the edge, we're doing a 1.5, and then I'm just inking those little divots or notches or cutouts, whatever you want to call them. All right, we're on the home stretch. So we want to attach these to the angled pockets. So here, and I am going to glue along the edges, and the center, and the bottom. And then this pocket can go wherever you want. I'm just going to kind of center it with about, it looks like a little bit over 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this pocket. Each side. The bottom. Oh, and the center. Okay. And we'll have that right about there. Now I need to make some tags. So I'm going to make some 4x8 tags for the front and back. I need a 2x4 tag for here, 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 here. And for in here, I want a couple of large journal cards. So I'm going to cut up some extra cardstock, and I'll be back. All right, I've got some tags, and I've got some more tags. It looks like I did more of those than I want. That's okay. We'll make it work. So let's start with the small one. So this is the one that I want to put in the slider, and I want to use some of this. So we've got like I just need a 6-inch piece, and we'll make a little, I just happen to have this piece that worked out perfectly with the butterfly on it. It's not quite 2 inches. We'll see. If it's too loose, I may come by and do something else, but this butterfly was so cute, I wanted to use it. All right, let's put that in there. And I think, pull that carefully, I don't want to tear the hole, but I am going to trim these down. They don't need to be that long. Okay. I think I'm going to use this corner rounder on them though. Let's see. Let's use the, probably should have done that before. Yeah. That's all right. We'll make it work. It's kind of a frame label punch, and then we will ink those just a smidge. Doesn't have to be, just take off the white edges. Alright, and then I have these over here, which are just going to be our 2x4. I want them to be right way up with the words, so let's use we could use the ticket punch on this one. I didn't bring the other corner, I didn't bring the tag punch. So let's just use let's make them tickets. That's kind of fun. And it doesn't matter which way around they are. I think I'll do the fancy whatever that is on this one. And then I also went and got my Martha Stewart punch for the bigger tags, because I think those are always fun. And because I want this to lay relatively flat, I didn't add a lot of bulk and ribbons to it. Just that one in the front is going to have the ribbons. So we've got, I think these two are the same, so we'll punch this in the corner. Let's see. This one has a nice butterfly on it as well. Okay. Alright, so that's two there, and then I have these shorter ones. I don't think it matters which way around they go. Maybe I will do these with the corner punch as well, like you know, journal cards. I try to use the same papers that I used on the other pages, so I think there are two that I added that are a little bit different, because I'm trying to use up some of the scraps. So that looks good. And then I've got a couple of these. I don't want to use these because these are not the right ones. Those were the offcuts. But yeah, I thought these would be fun, so I want to go ahead and punch these with the Martha Stewart as well. These are fun. 4x8 tags. So I think the other ones are 5x7, the shorter ones. If you don't get it straight, you get this little corner doohickey. Not that big of a deal. Alright, so that happens when you don't get it all the way in there. I'm having a hard time punching with my, I think I have arthritis in my thumbs. I don't know. It could be, everyone says, oh, it's carpal tunnel. I don't know. All I know is the punches are getting harder. So, alright, let's look here. Let's finish this off. So we're going to open this up. We need a tag for here, so I'm going to use the butterfly in here. One there, and one in the back. The one that matches the cover. That's a 4x8 tag. You could totally put more tags in here if you want. And then we have the slider, which is this one, which is just going to slide inside like that. I think that'll be alright. I don't think it's, if you think it's too loose, you could always mat it and make it thicker. So now we've got these two pockets. So we'll put one of each of these. We'll put one of these in here, and one of these in here. There we go. Flip it and do the same. Of course, I put it upside down. Try so hard to get it in there and then end up putting it upside down. And this one I don't think matters. So there we we go. And then these big ones I want to put in here. So I'll put one, you know what, I think I'm going to round the bottom just to make it easier to get in and out of the pocket. So I'll use the 1/4 inch side here. Yeah, just like that. And then I'm going to put one going each way so you can see them from both sides. And then we'll also stick these in there as well. There we go. All right, so we've got tag, 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 and we got our tags in the back. Now, what I've seen some variations of some other people doing also is you could do more than one of these. You could do one in the front, one in the middle, one in the back. That would be fun. I've seen people that have divided it into 5 sections and put tabs on the side. I would like to do that because I watched a video, I never can remember the guy's name, but he talked about how to journal, and he divided his journal up into 5 sections. One was for goals, one was for gratitude, and you know, those kinds of things. So that would be a fun thing to do here. But you could take and go right to the middle, and where this seam is, glue these 2 together, and well, actually you'd probably glue those 2 together and then these 2 together, and then make another one of those fold down pockets. Or just like we've done in the altered books, you could make all kinds of pockets. You don't have to make a slanted pocket. You could make one that goes like this, or you could make a top loading pocket, or a side loading pocket, or a fold over pocket. Just, you know, the possibilities are endless. So like I said, this is going to need a little bit of practice to get it to lay down properly. I'll probably just stack it, but I wanted to make one that wasn't Christmas themed. Actually, I think I've already glued that side down, but I was thinking of maybe punching this round. I wonder, do I dare? I don't know if I can get to this one. Can I? I don't want to get any of that ribbon in there. Yeah, we can do that. So let's, yeah. Just so it seems more finished, and then I'll take a little ink. Yeah, that looks nice. I like it. That looks good. Or you could just round it, whatever, or leave it. It does, you know, make it your own, right? Okay. And then we'll tie this. This is glued on really good and tight, so you can, you know, fill this book up to your heart's content, and plenty of room for everything. And I'm going to have somebody help me tie that, just so I can get it tight enough so that I can get it to stay, because my fingers won't stay where they're supposed to when I'm tying the bow. But let's see. Well, a little bit better. That works. You know how I am with my bows. Not great. Alright, so then that one's a little, I can trim this one down a little bit. Don't need it to be quite that long. And I have a piece for something else. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I will leave the link below to my other video. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. I thank you for watching, and I thank you for, if you've been here the whole month, sharing the Christmas in July with me. I'm not sure what's ahead for August, but I do know I'm a year behind on scrapbooking / journaling my cruise from last summer, and I have a whole bag of stuff. So I think August might be me working on my Alaska journal. So anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Bye now.